Next section on personal security awareness. As I mentioned previously, we are going to look at observation skills. So most of the times observation, we need to be able to observe with more than just the eyes, all right? As I initially mentioned, we need to use our common sense. And the common sense we are talking about is the ability to see, ability to smell, ability to taste, ability to hear, and ability to touch. And improving our observation skills allows us to listen with more than just the ears, all right, so that we can be able to make better decisions. So good observation skills will be able to enable you detect and identify threats, all right, and you're talking about threats to your well-being or the well-being of your loved ones or of your property, all right. So good observation skills allow us to react appropriately to an emergency. How many times have you been in a situations where you go and see something and then you are like, oh, I had seen those people standing there. Are they the ones who came? Did he have a red shirt? And the lady who was putting on, maroon jeans. I had seen them and I thought they were questionable and there's nothing I did about it. So say, nilikuwa najua. Let us not get into those situations because at times such situations may lead to loss of property and worst case scenario, loss of life. So what exactly do we need to observe, right? As we get to that, I just want to lay emphasis on something I'd said before. You are responsible and accountable for your own safety and security, okay? You should develop a strong sense of security awareness, all right? And you must not, whether you like it or not, no, you must adjust your behavior to take into account the environment in which you find yourself. And I will still give another example. The way you behave when you are in, let's say, allow me to use Nairobi, all right? So the way you behave when you are on Loiter Street, okay, in Nairobi, all right, or on Mama Ngina Avenue in Nairobi is not the same way you behave when you are on Kirinyaga Road, all right, or when you are in Kariako, all right. Reason being, the population of the people there is high, so that means that at times the risk of something being stolen from you is high. So always, we will get into details of this, but make sure that you're always adjusting your behavior to the environment in which you're at. So what exactly do you need to observe? As I've said, you observe using more than your eyes. So we are looking at someone's head, all right, the very basic, the head. How was the head? What was the size? What was the shape? How is the forehead? Do they have hair? How was the hair? Did the hairline start here or it's starting here like Susan's? All right. So what did you see when you saw their head? As in the head, by shape, I don't know if it is oval or it's circular. So how do you describe the face of a person? All right. What was the shape? All right. What was the size? Okay. The other thing, the eyes. How are the eyes? Right? The eyes of the person, how is the nose? All right. The face. We're talking about the face. You're looking at the eyes, the nose, the teeth, the scalp, the jawline. Did they have acne? Did they have a beard? So, and I'm not saying that, let me just put a disclaimer. I'm not saying that whenever you're at risk, you spend so much time of looking at people so that you can pick these things, because at times this might put you in danger. So the first thing I'm saying, once you have a glance and you've seen someone, what exactly have you been able to pick, right? Because at times you may put your life at risk as you're trying to pick some of these things, but at times at a glance you can be able to tell. Like now, for instance, you say his face was a bit square or it was oval, and the nose was a bit wide, or maybe it was sharp. He had he did not have one tooth, right? Or the tooth were crooked, or maybe the teeth looked perfectly aligned. And then how's the big body structure? Was the person fat? Were they thin? Were they masculine? Were they tall? Were they medium? Did they have a pot belly? How are the shoulders? How are the arms? These are the things that you're seeing with the eyes, so that any other time when a particular description is given and you meet a person with that description, you can actually easily pick. And then how was the skin? How was the complexion? All right. How was the texture of their skin? And then how was the accent? All right. Let me use a typical example of Kenya. If I meet someone who is from, let's say, Eastlands, let me give an example of Dandora. The way someone from Dandora speaks and the way someone from Westland speaks is very different. person from Nakuru, the way they speak, and a person from Kitale, and a person from Mombasa, if I have those 5 people seated together, just from the way they are speaking, from their accent, I can tell where they are from. And at times even other nationalities, you can be able to tell a person who is Nigerian, a person who is South African, a person who is Ghanaian. After they speak for some time, you can be able to tell where they're coming from. So it's important for you to be able to pick and understand what accent they have, what language are they using. We have over 40 languages in Kenya. Are you able to differentiate one language from the other? They may not be using, the national language, English, Swahili, or whichever national language it is in your country. So are they speaking in Kisii? Are they speaking in Meru? Are they speaking in Turkana? Are they speaking in Somali? Are they speaking in Kikuyu? Are they speaking in Luo? Are they speaking in Luya? And if it's Luya, does it sound as if it's for someone from Bungoma or Busia or Kitale? Are they speaking in Kalenjin? Are they speaking in Kamba? All these languages, can you be able to differentiate? And what's their origin? At times, from a combination of a number of things, you can be able to tell their origin. Like now, for instance, a person who comes from the coast, if someone, I know our Luya brothers and sisters are very strong Kiswahili. So when one is saying wakati nilikuwa nataka stakabadhi zangu, most of the time I would know where they are coming from. And compared to a person from the coast, I can definitely tell the difference, all right? And at times, the way they are dressed, how is the person dressed? How are they clothes? How can you describe? Do you even know the difference of the colors? So that is something that is very critical for you to be able to observe. And what was their general appearance, all right?